But before April, we can bring in the one and only Emory Hunt hopping on the buzz this AM. Emory, it's been a minute, so I got to say thank you for letting your people let us be graced by your presence. It's always a pleasure. I know how busy you are in Mobile right now. You always have your eyes and ears to the streets of knowing what's going on with college football. So let's talk some of the top 5 performers that you've seen this week at the Senior Bowl. And first, I want to introduce folks to Taylor Elgersma, a QB out of Canada. What has he done to maybe stand out when you've got guys like Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel all there?
Well, here's the thing, Zach. I saw him initially back in May at the East-West Bowl up in Waterloo, Ontario. That's their Canadian All-Star game. So you guys don't have enough stamps in your Sun Pass to understand what I just said. So I've seen him multiple times. And in this month, this is his 3rd All-Star game. He was at the College Gridiron Showcase. He then went to the Tropical Bowl, and that's what got him the call up here to the Senior Bowl. So him playing already in the States January has made it a little bit easier of a transition for him. He's 6'4", 213, and does a great job showcasing that strong arm. Back in May, he was a 3rd quarterback prospect on the CFL draft board, and he had a fantastic week, which kind of elevated his stock going into that game and coming out of it. And now here in the States, he's put on a show for the entire month, and he's been really out here impressing in Mobile.
Trying to become the first QB since 2003 to be born in Canada to make the NFL since my guy, Florida Gator Jesse Palmer, did it. I don't think you can say anything about that with your Raging Cajuns, Emory, but that's okay. We can move on. I know you have some light to shine on the O-line. Carson Vinson repping the HBCUs with Alabama A&M. How's he been looking?
You know, it's fascinating because he came in 6'5", 313, and you look at his body type. That's what's big about these All-Star games, because we know rosters lie. But when you see these guys in person, you can see, okay, he's a true 6'5", 313 and carries it really well. So that projects well to the left side of the offensive line. He could play tackle on either side. And because Alabama A&M does a great job in their non-conference scheduling Auburn, scheduling other FBS programs, I've seen him play well in those games. So he's been down here doing a great job against some of the top pass rushers, more than holding his own. And everyone came into the week talking about wanting to switch him to guard, but they come out of this week knowing that he can hold his own at tackle and stay there as a pro.
Yeah, Benson wanted to make that money, get that tackle-type contract. Number 6 in the position of offensive lineman is where we have him currently. It's curious to see where we think about Shemar Stewart, because I know he has not been afraid at all to say, hey, GMs, take me with your top pick. His production maybe doesn't back up the way that he was talking and yapping, but has he been producing at least this week?
Yes, he reminds me so much of Rashawn Gary, and that was a lot of the talk about Rashawn Gary when he was coming out of Michigan. You know, you look at the measurables, you look at the physical attributes that he has, you're like, wow, this guy should have double-digit sacks consistently. But this week, he put on a show as well. You saw the viral clip going around with him getting around Emory Jones out of LSU. Just quick off the ball, using the length. Kind of reminds me a lot of Cam Jordan and how he plays, because he could play across the front, but his story is more like Rashawn Gary. This week, the last 2 days, he's had a great practice, and this is day 3. We might not see him for day 3 because we saw his suitcase in his hand last night. I don't think he's performing today. I feel like he's done enough, and he's on his way now to get ready for the combine.
Emory hitting us with that insider information here this morning as well. I appreciate that. Let's get to Grey Zabel out of North Dakota State. What's he done from the offensive line standpoint to maybe help his stock?
Here's the thing, Zach. North Dakota State won the FCS National Championship. So they played 16 games. And last week, or earlier in this week, when I was at the Shrine Bowl, you saw his quarterback, Cam Miller, and you saw this guy now out here competing, having played a full 16-game schedule and didn't opt out of these All-Star games. Tuesday's practice, I tweeted out, this guy hasn't lost a rep in one-on-ones, and that was at both guard and tackle. So it speaks volumes to the preparation, the fact that he has still been playing football. That's always a big thing. These guys just got done with their season 2 weeks ago. So a lot of these guys have put on pads for the first time since either November or December. So there is a bit of an advantage. But when you're a small school guy like Vinson or Zabel, you want to come out here and dominate. He has done just that. We may even see him go higher in the draft. I'm talking about round 2 based off what he did here in Mobile.
Big fellas trying to make themselves some money. Last guy to get to, a DB from Western Kentucky, Upton Stout. I love the name, but why has he been a top performer for you?
Size is not a skill, and he's 5'9", about 185 pounds, but he's outside playing corner and is locking down these big physical wide receivers. Every time you see a receiver or a pass going to a receiver's way, he's like an extra set of skin on the receiver. These photos don't do it any justice how well he's been locked in with these wide receivers. So he's had himself a stellar performance each and every day. You see his size and instantly wants to say, oh, he's going to be a slot corner, and that may well be true. But this dude has more than proved he can play on the outside as a corner. Great ball skills, great instincts, competitive nature, and has the footwork necessary to mirror and match with these wide receivers at the professional level.
Emory, it's great having you on in the morning. I just have one request. Next time you're on the show, just maybe make up the bed before you hop on the Zoom.
I did a good job, man. You know what I'm saying? I did a good job. Sleep on one side. You know what I'm saying? Look at that.
It looks a little.
That's
janky.
good.
I see the background. I'm gonna look at everything I'm looking at. Emory, that we appreciate it. You have a good morning, good rest of the day out there at Senior Bowl, and of course, if Brandon will let me finish, with the first pick is the premier podcast done by Ryan Wilson and Rick Spielman to get you ready for the draft. Of course, April will be here before we know it. Like, subscribe, give them a listen.